Hello AEA owners. This is a HP 22 SS. You guys probably seen another video or whatnot, just to kind of give you an overview. It's a super lightweight, powerful. I was able to get it to shoot slugs. You do have to kind of tinker on them a little bit. I kind of pulled the trigger out here for you so you can kind of see what to tinker on in case it gobbles a pellet or slug or whatever. So you can just pop it out. It's not a big deal. One of the problems I had with the gun was, and actually, you know, it kind of makes sense to improve accuracy, is I had a problem with it. It just wasn't shooting right. So one day I loosened the shroud, and then my point of impact jumped up. So I knew I had a problem. So I started working on that, and you can kind of see here I put a washer in here, pulled the barrel out, put the washer, and then the screws, just backed them out a little bit so it holds the spring doesn't push on your shroud perch. So this is able to just kind of float in there. And then I machined this down roughly 30 thousandths, and then if you put the barrel in a drill and put the drill bit in a vise and kind of roll it around like this, it'll machine a groove in it, and you kind of figure out what size O-ring you want to run. But essentially what that does is it allows the shroud to just float on there, so it's not pulling the barrel off in any particular direction. That was one of my major improvements with the gun, to get it to shoot accurate. One of the ways that I was able to get it to shoot, it's tuned for the NSA 20.2 slugs, and you know, something else I should probably show you here. To get this, these are generally Loctited in there. These, your charge shaft. You just get the vice grips in here and clamp down on it to loosen it. Because usually in the charge handle here, it's Loctited in there, so it's like super hard to get out. So once you loosen it, you can, you know, adjust it. I put a little notch up here at the top so I can put a screwdriver down through here and adjust it in and out. But it's a hardened steel rod, so you really have to be abusive with it. And then of course you want to tighten it too, because it will come loose unless you have it really tight. So in either case, to shoot slugs, what I did is I slugged it, and it was really bad up front here. So I took a polishing compound. What is it here? I forget which one it was. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a Felpro lapping compound. It's a machinist lapping compound, and they have different strengths or different aggressiveness. So that was the first thing I did, was do that, get the front, you know, slug the gun, and it was just really hard to get through here. It kind of fell through the middle, and then we had a little bit of choke at the top. So I used that lapping compound to get the front of the barrel going good, and then I took it down to, you could get this stuff on Amazon, these little I don't know, you see it there. I think I got them on Amazon. So you could just wrap this, it's like a cloth, and you could just wrap it around, say like a 177 wire brush, wrap it around real tight, and you just kind of work it through the barrel. Let it spin with the barrel, because you don't want to take your rifling out. You want to just open it up just a tiny bit so it's smooth and efficient. And this gun here, I kind of committed it to a slug gun. So I went ahead and did away with the choke at the tip. So it's, goes all the way, it's smooth all the way through. There's no choke. What how you tune it. Hold on here, my thing popped off over here. How I was able to tune it was this I have tuned for the 20.2 219s. What you do, you can start off with the 2175s or 218s. But when you're getting to the larger you go in your slug, your standard deviation will go down. So you'll get to a point where your standard deviation drops as the slug you're using gets bigger. So that's one way of tuning for your standard deviation, because it's kind of difficult to figure out other ways of lowering your standard deviation other than the size of the slug that you're running and your barrel work. So I know that some guys are talking about, what do you do with the trigger? What do you do? What do you do? And actually, honestly, to work your trigger, you have to have everything else set right. I polished the outside of my barrel, polished this rod, polish my charge pin, polish my hammer. So basically you're taking the gun all apart and polishing all those parts. And then I use a little bit of wheel bearing grease up front here. And then I use a motor oil back here. And as soon as you polish all that stuff, I use like a 320 or whatever. And you use a little bit of motor oil, it'll be nice and smooth. So once you get this all working as efficiently as possible, your charge handle, all that'll be nice and smooth. It won't be all gritty. It'll be nice and smooth. So with that, you're able to lower or increase your spring tension so you can run higher power. So the higher power you go, the more spring tension you need, because what's happening is this charge handle is going back and slamming against this bump stop and it shoots it forward, and then your clip can't keep up. So that's why a lot of guys they just have a lot of jamming problems. But of course, I mean, there's stuff you do to the clip as well, but this is where you start. Is you need to, the more power you run, the more you need to move this piston back. And I think I don't know. This is a regulated gun, so I don't, maybe this might kind of help you guys to set your piston. I don't know if 773 is how far I have this one set back, and this one's set at 190 bar on my regulator. 190 bar on my regulator. So when you get that set right for the power and the ammunition that you want to run, now you're able to start working on your trigger, because if you're able to, the slower you make your charge handle back and forth, the lighter you can make your trigger, because that's what your sear is literally stopping your hammer from going forward. And what I did, of course, you want to take care of all this other stuff first, and then you can make your trigger super light. And by polishing more angle, there again too, I use the 320. By increasing the angle on, let me get this. By increasing the angle on this, it makes the trigger lighter. So when you say you do take too much off, don't worry. You could always, file more or sand more angle back into it. so it will. And when you take too much out of it, it'll shoot like full automatic. You know, it just blaze through all the slugs and jam, and so it's not going to be happy. So just take off a little bit at a time. More and more angle makes your trigger softer and softer. You know, accompanied with the motor oil, it makes it for a pretty good trigger. The spring, I don't know if you guys, I put the I don't know, the spring at 715. This is the one. This is the spring that's farther back, and the spring that's farther forward. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So the farther back one is the taller one. You know, I didn't really play all that much around with the springs, but the taller one evidently was in the back, so I might have played around with it a little bit, but I don't know. You could play around with it, see if it works. But like I said, the main thing is your angle on your sear, and slowing down the whole semi-automatic process. You don't want it slamming against the back. So keep in mind, lower the power, farther forward on the piston. Higher the power, farther back on the piston, because you need to slow this charge handle down. I had a couple things I was talking about here. Tuning for slugs, polish, spring tension, okay, trigger work. Okay, so the regulator, if, you know, I don't know if you guys want to go with regulator, but it shot really good. Say you don't want to do all this, you want to just shoot, you want to say, okay, I want to shoot some slugs, and you don't want a regulator. I ran the NSA 17.5s, no regulator, you know, minimal barrel work, and it shot those great, the 17.5 slugs. But your shot count wasn't all that great. This here, I have I guess it's the 50 or maybe the 60. This is a Huma regulator, and I guess they have like lane regulator on eBay. They have, it's easier to just kind of order different size plenums, because you could do a lot of tuning with your size plenum, especially if you don't have a hammer spring or anything else. You know, with your regulator pressure and the size plenum, you could really do a lot. So maybe if you had a 25 cal, you'd probably want to go with the bigger plenum. This one here is, I guess it's the 50, but I did some more work inside here that, you know, with high pressure, you probably wouldn't, you know, a lot of people might be uncomfortable with that. But in either case, I'd probably go with either the one of the two larger ones. I can't remember. I think it's 50 or 60 cc plenum. But like I said, you could easily just buy both of them and then swap them on there and see which one works best for you. So like I said, I'm shooting the NSA 20.2, 190 bar. Oh, and by the way, I'm getting like close to 90 shots, over 80 shots with this bottle. I think it's the 500 cc bottle. 500 cc bottle. It just shoots all night. You know, I mean, it's great. I got the I guess that's about it. If you have a lock problem, you got this underneath here, you got this Allen grub screw. Put some Loctite on that and screw it back in so your safety gets clicky again. What else? Chop that thing off so it makes it easier to... What else I got? I got the this is the Huma silencer, and this one you can, you know, break them down into smaller pieces. You could buy individual ones. This one's kind of nice because if you go, some guns, they won't it won't clear the bottle because of the diameter. So this one's able to, clear the bottle. There's other ways of getting more clearance here, but maybe that's another video. So I didn't have any real, there wasn't any real accuracy differences between the two silencers. So this is the AEA. That's just the one that comes on it. And what else? Oh, clips. Okay, your clip, you want to, they come out with a couple different ones that have like a really fat backing here, and I don't know. What I've done with them is I'll just sand them down on this side with, on a flat table and sand them down. And also you have to be careful, the inner star wheel, you get one little nick on that, you rotate this thing and you feel it hit that's a problem. So what I do is I take my clip all apart, and underneath your center star wheel you'll have a spring, so I'll put some graphite on it and I'll set it, I won't double wind it or anything. I'll just put it back together like that, and make sure you got an Allen wrench under here so you can get your tension set right. And but the main thing is make sure it's really smooth. It doesn't hang up on anything, and it's easy enough to just pop this top cover off and get in there with a razor blade and just cut off the bad nick, so it doesn't hang up on anything. So a little bit of graphite on the spring, kind of keep things moving smooth. But like I said, the clip is going to be a lot happier if you slow down your cycle. You slow down your cycle, then you can get your trigger set right. You can run a lighter trigger. So it all kind of starts with your cycling. These things are known to gobble pellets and gobble slugs or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Just kind of pay attention to what you're doing. You have several different pins in different sizes. They kind of self-explanatory, but just remember the pretty side. This is your pretty side in, ugly side out. So just kind of remember that. A couple guys were asking me about this magnetic mount here. That's what I got going on there. So yeah, it really sticks good. So have any other questions, leave a message down below and I'll see if I can answer it for you. Over and out.